Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imad and I am from BSBT and my ID is 06 and today I will discuss about the topic of igneous sedimentary and metamorphic rocks of Pakistan. So first of all we will take a look at igneous rocks. So igneous rocks form when hot molten rock crystallizes and solidifies. The melt originates deep within the earth near active plate boundaries or hot spots, then rises towards the surface. Igneous rocks are divided into two groups, intrusive and or extrusive, depending upon where the molten rock solidifies. So there are two types of igneous rocks. These include intrusive igneous rocks and extrusive igneous rocks. Intrusive igneous rocks forms when magma is trapped deep inside the earth. Uh, Great globs molten rock rise towards the surface. Some of the magma may feed volcanoes on the Earth's surface, but most remains trapped below, where it cools very slowly over many thousands or millions of years until it solidifies. Slowing cooling means the individual mineral grains have a very long time to grow, so they grow to a relatively larger size. Intrusive rocks have a coarse grained texture and extrusive igneous rocks are produced when magma exits and cools above the Earth's surface. Now, forms of igneous rocks. So, a discordant igneous rock body cuts across the pre-exiting rock bed. A concordant igneous rock body runs parallel to the pre-existing bedrock. Uh, Laccoliths and sills are examples of concordant igneous rock bodies. A laccolith is a dome-shaped intrusive body that has intruded between layers of sedimentary rocks. So this is a picture showing the concordant and discordant of igneous rocks. So now we will discuss about the influencing factor. So there are two major factors that influence the creation of igneous rocks. Uh, Igneous rocks or the original rock that was melted and the cooling history of the molten rocks. The original rock could be any initial rock. This could be plate tectonic mechanisms that move rocks throughout the crust. So even sedimentary and metamorphic rocks can become melted again. Uh, the different types of rocks melt into different chemical magmas, which then is dependent on how it cools. Molten rock with different cooling histories and different chemical composition will form igneous rocks. If magma cooled inside the surface, inside the crust of the earth, the rocks will have larger minerals and referred to as plutonic or intrusive rocks. Molten rocks that flow out onto the surface is called lava. These rocks are called volcanic or extrusive rocks. So we will discuss about the most common types of igneous rocks that are found. These include dikes, laccoliths, lopolith, bisamelith, and lava etc. These are forms of igneous of extrusive igneous bodies. We will discuss about dikes. Dike is also called dike or geological dike. In geology, tabular or sheet-like igneous body that is often oriented vertically or steeply inclined to the bedding of pre-existing intruded rocks. Similar bodies originated parallel to the beddings of the enclosing rocks are called sills. Dikes are tubular or sheet-like bodies of magma that cut through and across the layering of adjacent rocks. They form when magma rises into an existing fracture or creates a new crack by forcing its way through existing rock and then solidifies. So now we will discuss about sills. Sills are also called sheet. These are flat intrusion of igneous rock that forms between pre-existing layers of rock. Sills occur in parallel to the bedding of the rocks that enclose them, and though they may have vertical to horizontal orientations, Nearly horizontal sills are mostly common. So sills form when magma intrudes between the rock layers, forming a horizontal or gently dipping sheet of igneous rock. The Win sill in an England provided a defensive cliff line on which the Romans built Hadrian's Wall. So now we will discuss about metamorphic rocks. So metamorphism is the change of minerals or geological texture in pre-existing rocks without the protolith melting into liquid magma. The change occurs primarily due to heat, pressure, and the introduction of chemically active fluids. So during metamorphism, the mineral content and texture of the uh, protolith are changed due to changes in the physical and chemical environment of the rock. Metamorphism can be caused by burial, uh, tectonic stress, heating by magma, or alteration by fluids. Metamorphic rocks were once igneous or sedimentary rocks, but they have changed as a result of intense heat or pressure within the Earth's crust. They are crystalline and are often squashed. So, metamorphic rocks include protolith. So metamorphic rocks form when rocks are subjected to high heat, high pressure, high hot mineral-rich fluids, or more commonly, some combination of these factors. Conditions these are found deep within the earth or where tectonic plates meet. So any rock which is sedimentary or metamorphic, it can be converted into sedimentary or igneous. It can be converted into metamorphic rock. So these rocks are formed when high pressure or hot mineral-rich fluids, or more commonly when all the combination of these factors are applied. These conditions are found deep in the earth. So now we will discuss about the kinds of metamorphism. There are different kinds of metamorphism. First of all, there is thermal metamorphism. So thermal metamorphism is the phenomena of recrystallization and re-equilibration seen in the country rocks adjacent to the intrusive igneous bodies. The scale of the phenomena can range from a zone only millimeters to several kilometers wide. Such contact metamorphic zones are termed as areoles. The next type is dynamo-thermal metamorphism. It is a common type of metamorphism that involves the effects of directed pressures and shearing stress, as well as a wide range of confining pressures and temperatures. It is related both geographically and genetically to large orogenic belts, and hence is regional in character. So now we will now I will discuss about the classification of igneous of metamorphic rocks. So metamorphic rocks are broadly classified as foliated or non-foliated. Uh, Non-foliated metamorphic rocks do not have aligned mineral crystals. Non-foliated rocks form when pressure is uniform or near the surface where pressure is very low. So some examples of the metamorphic rocks, which are important metamorphic rocks and are used in our daily life activities, like marble. It is used in our houses to decorate the floor, and quartzite, slate, gneiss, and schist. So the metamorphic rocks have different textures. They may be slightly, or they may look horn-fleshy or grabnolastic. So in this table, the mainly the textures of metamorphic rocks are mentioned. So uh, there are some examples of metamorphic rocks, like rocks metamorphized at the deepest levels of the earth crust or brought up to the surface when mountain ranges are uplifted and eroded. The cliffs beyond the mountains uh, have were originally lavas. So the cliffs that were behind the mountains, these were originally lavas, but these were converted uh, into cliffs later on, and these are examples of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks uh, uh, can be formed from any type of older material. So metamorphic rocks can be formed from any kind of material that ages with time. So now I will discuss about sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are formed when sediment is deposited out of air, ice, wind, gravity, or water flows. Uh, Carrying the particles in suspension, the sediment is often formed when weathering and erosion break down a rock into loose material in a source area. So uh, I will discuss about the formation of sedimentary rocks. So classic sedimentary rocks are made up of uh, pieces of pre-existing rocks. Pieces of rocks are loosened by weathering. Weathering mainly affects the rocks. So when these are transported into some basin or depression where sediments are trapped, if the sediment is buried deeply, it becomes compacted and it is cemented, and thus it forms sedimentary rocks. So, clastic rocks are composed of fragments of clast of pre-existing mineral or rock. Clast is a fragment of geological uh, chunks and smaller grains of rock broken off other rocks by physical weathering. So there are different types of sedimentary rocks. These include clastic sedimentary rock, which I previously discussed about, and others include chemical sedimentary rock and organic sedimentary rock. So now I will discuss about chemical sedimentary rock. So chemical sedimentary rock forms when mineral constitutes in solution and it become supersaturated and inorganically precipitate. Common chemical sedimentary rocks include oleitic limestone and rocks composed of evaporate minerals such as uh, slivate, barite, and gypsum. Now I will discuss about organic sedimentary rocks. So organic sedimentary rocks are actually those which contain large quantities of organic molecules. So organic molecules mainly contain carbon, but in the in but we will refer to the molecules which contain carbon hydrogen bonds, such as material from the soft tissues of plants and animals. An important organic sedimentary rock is coal. So like when fossils remain for a longer period and these are compressed. So with the passage of time, uh, these are converted into uh, organic sedimentary rocks. So in plastic sedimentary rocks, uh, these rocks can be classified as conglomerate, sandstone, and shale. So, conglomerate is a clastic sedimentary rock that is composed of a substantial fraction of rounded to subangular gravel size clast. Conglomerate typically consists of a matrix of finger-grained sediment such as sand, silt, or clay, which fills the intrinsic behavior between the clasts. So the other one is sandstone. So sandstone is clastic sedimentary rock that is composed mainly of sand-sized silicate grains. Sandstones make up about 20 to 25% of all the sedimentary rocks. So the third group is shale. So shale is a fine-grained clastic sedimentary rock. It is composed of mud that is mix of flakes of clay minerals and tiny fragments of other minerals, especially quartz and calcite. Shale is characterized by breaks along thin laminae or parallel layering or bedding that is less than a centimeter in thickness and is called as facility. This is the picture of conglomerates. This is the picture of sandstone, and this is how shale looks like. So now I will discuss about chemical sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary structures that are larger, generally three-dimensional physical features of sedimentary rocks. They're best seen in outcrop or in a large hand specimen rather than through a microscope. Sedimentary rocks Sedimentary rocks include many features like bedding, ripple marks, fossil tracks, trails, and mud cracks. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much for listening at my listening my presentation.